So luckily there is a giant iron thing coming out of the ground that I could sit on. Little rusty, but we'll risk it. So yeah, little introduction. I ended up buying Blundstones because my girlfriend had them and she's had them for a year and we've dated for a year and I've always wanted them. And then finally one day I was like, you know what, I should just get them. So that's exactly what I did. I got the Blundstones 550s, which I'm pretty sure the only difference between these and the 500s is that there's a seam on the side, kind of near the ankle, and then they are leather lined, which is supposed to be a little bit more comfortable. I don't really notice a difference. I mean, some people I feel like can just feel more stuff than I can, but they're leather lined and I got them because I like the color of them, which I'll get into in a little bit because that's actually a really important part of this video. Something worth mentioning too is that she got the dress version of these boots, which is basically the same construction except for the fact that the toe is a little bit more boxed and the boots themselves are a little slimmer. And if I'm gonna be 100% honest, I like them better than mine, but I just couldn't copy her to the exact style because I don't want to be that couple walking around with the exact same type of boots on. I just feel like that's not who we are. But anyways, the one thing I really liked about her boots is that she doesn't treat them at all. To be honest, she thought they were made of rubber because she doesn't treat them at all, and they still look really nice. And she's also not a person that treats them delicately. I've seen her jump in puddles. We've gone on hikes, we've gone snowshoeing, we've gone just walking through the snow. She wears them all the time and they look brand new. I have a few boots that I use for going outside or going on hikes and stuff like that. I have LL Bean boots, I have Wolverine 1000 miles, I have Keens, which I show off here, and they all fit and do their job really well. The Wolverines I kind of use for dressy walking around, although I could use them for going through the woods and stuff like that. LL Bean boots are pretty new, but I got them at the end of the winter to go in the snow and kind of be my winter boots. Keens I actually got like 5 to 8 years ago. I barely use them, but they're, again, hiking boots. And what I really like about these boots, one is that I don't have to lace them. I hate lacing boots for some reason. I just feel like it takes so long. Sometimes I lace them too tight, sometimes I don't lace them tight enough, so on and so forth. I usually wear boots or Stan Smiths, the white Adidas, and I slip those on all the time. So these are perfect for that. The other thing I really like is the fact that these boots can kind of go anywhere. They're really on trend right now, as you can probably tell, because if you look outside, I guarantee in 5 minutes someone's gonna walk by with them on. But they can be winter boots, they can just be something that you like because they're fashionable, and that's really nice. Now, two things. One, the leather is full grain, so it's the toughest leather that you can get. There's nothing above full grain. That is literally just cutting it off the animal and putting it on your shoe. A little gross, obviously a little cleaned up, but still, that's always a good sign because if you think about it, the outermost part of the leather is gonna be the toughest, like it would be kind of on your skin too. Second thing, which I don't actually like, is that the Blundstones are a unibody, or whatever the correct word would be. It's basically one piece of leather that kind of goes around the foot and then is cemented onto the sole, which is really cool. It helps keep the water out, which is obviously super important. The downside of that, though, is that when you want to get these shoes replaced, you really can't, technically. They're not Goodyear welted, which means you can take the bottom off, put a new bottom on, bing, bang, boom, you're back, you got your leather shoes, and you can keep going. Now, that's my biggest gripe about Blundstones, and that's actually why I almost didn't buy them, because I don't see the point in getting a full grain leather upper, which is gonna last hopefully forever, and I'll go into more details about that in a little bit, and then getting a bottom that can't technically be replaced. Now, the reason I bought these still, though, is because there are people online that will replace the bottom. I don't know how that's gonna go. I mean, I have a lot of time before I'll need to replace the bottom, but still. And basically what they would have to do is kind of pry the bottom off, clean the cement glue from the leather, and then re-glue another sole on. Downside of that is Blundstones really pride themselves in a super comfortable footbed, and they really brag about that. It's like 33% less shock than you normally would have, so on and so forth. You're not gonna get that because Blundstones themselves say, once these are done, throw them away because they're cooked. You need to get new ones. So you probably have to go with a Vibram sole instead, which again, isn't really that bad. These are comfortable, but honestly nothing super, super crazy. The one thing to note about them is that I got these yesterday, so they're basically brand new. Really isn't a lot of break-in time. I bought them in Boston, walked around the city all day, I'm walking through the woods now, and no blisters or anything like that. So I really do a lot of research when I'm gonna buy something because I do want it to last for a super long time. And something that I stumbled across was actually, I just casually Googled if Blundstones were waterproof, and I got taken to the frequently asked questions of the Canadian site for Blundstones. And what I saw was that they said, yes, we treat all of our shoes with oil, we oil our leather, because leather on the skin of an animal is waterproof, but when you take it off the animal, basically you have skin that you have to condition and wax and stuff and keep it alive so it can repel water and stuff yourself, because there's no animal to do that. Sad, I know, we're just talking about cutting a skin off an ant. So the thing that I found, and what I found a lot, is that when a workwear brand meets fashion, there's miscommunication a lot of times between customer and product. And that is really, really apparent here. And what I mean by that is Blundstones are usually treated, like I said, with an oil or a wax or whatever they do. That's why you'll see the suede isn't really soft. It looks really like matted down and napped down, and that's the wax basically to keep the water out and have your shoes be pretty water repellent. Also, Blundstones are not waterproof, they're water repellent. Just so you know. You can get them wet all you want, but don't go swimming in them because water's gonna come in. But in this Canadian frequently asked questions, there's a point where it says, will conditioning the leather change the appearance of it? And it says specifically this style, rustic brown, I think another style, crazy horse or something like that, it will change the appearance because these boots are distressed, and they're distressed to look like they've been worn a lot. And what I noticed was when I was buying them, I was under the assumption that, oh, okay, all Blundstones are waterproof or water repellent, whatever. And it's pretty cool that they distress these and they look old and they look kind of dryish, but they're not. They're water resistant. Now looking into that, it looks like that is wrong. And it looks like since these are now fashionable and trendy and stuff, people want boots that look worn, look like you hiked a lot in them. So they would get these boots that look like that, not knowing that they aren't as water repellent or durable as the treated boots, the smooth, one color leather boots like that. So the remedy around this is to treat them yourself. You can get mink oil, you can get a wax or whatever. Blundstone recommends a few of them, and it will darken the leather. I haven't done that yet. I think that'll be my next video, just treating my Blundstones and seeing how they look differently, just in case you want to know. I'm gonna treat them anyways because I bought them under the assumption that they would be treated, and I think there's probably some light treatment, but basically I think they treat it, then they distress the boot, and you lose a little bit of that weatherproofness. Okay, so here's a test that we can actually try. I'm gonna interrupt myself talking over there to show you this. We have water, we have boots. We're gonna put them together. I'm not gonna stand in the water just because these are water resistant, not waterproof. So basically, if these are treated with a wax or an oil, they should be hydrophobic, and the water should beat up and kind of roll off. Some can get absorbed in, but really, the biggest thing is that we don't want a lot to come in. We definitely don't want my feet to feel wet. Oh yeah. Honestly, it looks like I'm wrong. Looks like there is some water resistance on these distressed boots too, so that's really good. But there is really only one way to actually test that, so give me a second. Okay, so one thing I definitely don't know is if the elastics of these boots are waterproof. This test will hopefully give us an answer. I also don't know how deep this water is, and it's probably pretty gross, so I'll definitely clean my boots after this, but we'll see if they're waterproof. I will let you know. Here we go. Ooh, it's deeper than I thought. Okay, great. Okay, so first impressions. Can you see my boots? Looks like got some waterproof bad boys over here. I think the elastics are waterproof, and I deduced this by the fact that there is no water going into my boots, so I'll keep walking and see how that goes. Oh yeah, these are some water resistant boots. I'm gonna take back my claim that the distressed ones aren't treated, because these are doing a pretty good job. I'm gonna come out of the water though. Nothing like actually jumping into mud and dirt to get you used to your boots and really not scared to get them dirty. Now I don't really care. But yeah, no water's coming in. They do smell. I could also see some beading around here, which definitely is a good sign, means water's not coming in. I was about this high up, maybe a little bit deeper, and boots are looking good. There is a rank smell though, because this is mud, so definitely gonna wash those off after. But yeah, I mean, definitely don't worry about them getting wet. I wouldn't stand in water for like 4 hours, but these are bomb. So, do I recommend these boots? Yes, 100% if you're going to treat them. If you're not, get some plastic Gore-Tex or whatever type of boots you can. Plastic and Gore-Tex and stuff like that is hydrophobic, I believe, by nature. Leather, untreated, or old leather that needs to be retreated is not hydrophobic, and then you're screwed because your boots are gonna dry, they're gonna crack, they're gonna break apart. So buy these boots knowing that you'll have to take care of them. You may have to re-oil them, re-wax them every month, maybe every week. If you just go super crazy with your boots, you probably won't have to do it that much, but just keep in mind that the reason they're waterproof out of the box or water resistant is because they are treated, and in order to keep that going, you do do have to keep them treated. And you have to brush the salt off, whatever. But yeah, out of the 3 or 4 boots that I have, these are by far my favorites, and I can't wait to break them in. My next video, I'm probably actually gonna oil them so they'll darken up and we can see how that looks. But anyways, that's about it. If you like this video, definitely shoot me a subscribe, because hopefully I'll have more to come.